Hi, welcome everybody to vExpert Daily. I know that hi was a little high, but hi. that's how we roll. So thanks for joining us today. We have three vExperts on the panel here that are going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the events that are happening here at VMworld. Talk about some of the announcements. Also touch on some ways that new members to the virtual community can get engaged, how they can join certain activities and get involved. So with that, I'm going to let the folks introduce themselves, starting with Mike here. Mike?
All right, hi, I'm Mike Preston. I'm a technical marketing engineer with Rubrik. I'm from Canadiana, Canada.
Where is that in Canada?
In the Canada portion.
Oh, in the Canada.
It's been a vExpert since I think around 2010 or something like that. Been going to VMworld ever since then, but this is my first VMworld Europe, so I'm super excited to be in Spain. So.
Great. Alex?
Alex Galbraith. So I'm a solutions architect and a vExpert for about the last 6-7 years as well. And I blog at techhead.it, and you can catch me on Twitter at Alex Galbraith.
Hi, my name is Chris Williams. I'm a solutions architect for Green Pages. I'm also on the crew for vBrownBag, and you can find me at mistwire.com and on Twitter at mistwire.
Great. Mike, did you just quickly want to just share your blog? I'm not sure you put that out there.
Sure. Blog.mwpreston.net.
Hey, great blog.
There you go.
Preston.
Great stuff.
MW Preston.
Great. So let's move over so we don't let that happen again. Let's just quickly touch on some of the announcements from the keynote today. I think one of the major announcements was the Heptio announcement. Any thoughts on that, Alex?
Yes. Some very well prepared thoughts.
Good.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing for me is, you know, this whole we call it Special K at the moment. You know, the Kubernetes word is just like everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
And I think for me, there's a few different elements to the Heptio piece. The one that I was most interested in is how are they planning to integrate that into the VMware service offering today, and which customers are they going to target with it? Because it looked from some of the material I was reading through that they were going to integrate with Pivotal.
Right.
And Pivotal is very much more of a kind of an enterprise play, but I think Kubernetes is more universal than that. So I'd be really interested to see, are they planning to say, right, this is just going to go as part of the Pivotal offering, we're only targeting these really large customers, or actually they're going to use that as a way to extend Kubernetes with VMware into smaller customer base, you know, mid-market customers, etc. You know, think like FTSE 250, 500, etc.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting to bring some of the open source stuff into the enterprise, because you see it's just like, as soon as VMware gets a hold on it, you know it's going to be targeted at enterprise, and then it's almost like bringing some of this hipster, cool open source stuff into with the enterprise kids now, and trying to intermingle them, and it'll be interesting to see how that happens.
Hipster and cool. Nice.
Yeah. He worked
Putting avocado toast into the enterprise.
Wow.
See how that goes. Yeah.
That's great.
Suits with beards. Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
I was talking. Al and I were talking to Scott about like an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and we were asking him how he enjoyed his transition from VMware to Heptio. And to his credit, he did not give it away. He did not say anything. Oh, I'm sure he was biting his tongue, sitting there going.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to talk to him again now to see what's going to happen with that. But to everybody's point, you know, seeing where they go with Kubernetes, with the orchestration layers and everything. I mean, VMware historically obviously was, you know, standard OS and everything, and the new carve-ups. I'm excited to see what kind of efficiencies they're going to be getting out of it, out of the orchestration layer, and shape how much more they're going to get away from the hypervisor and gain the efficiencies of having that OS-less layer.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Good. And just curious, I know this is usually from us to you, but just curious, folks in the audience, how many people with a raise of hands are looking forward to trying out that new piece, the Heptio piece? Okay, good. Yeah. So good representation. That's interesting. Just curious, side note, have any of you done anything with Kubernetes?
So I would say for where I work, which is somewhere under my test, we are seeing a huge amount of adoption with customers now. A lot of them are utilizing it both on premises, but also as a way to do development work and then start to creep into the cloud over time as well. So definitely seeing it, Kubernetes as being more of an enabler for the whole multi-cloud thing that we're talking about a lot more these days.
Yeah.
So I think there was the hybrid cloud piece, which, and I know VMware still talk about that, but I'm not as convinced by hybrid cloud as a future as I am about customers saying, okay, I've got this workload and it's best placed here, and I've got this workload and it's best placed here. Now with Kubernetes, you're abstracting a lot of that away, so it kind of then becomes, okay, where are your other workloads, where's your data, what are you using, are you taking AI and ML type services from these cloud providers, and that might drive you to putting your infrastructure over there. But I think overall it's certainly an interesting play, and it's definitely something that having a lot of conversations and doing a large number of implementations around Kubernetes today. So.
Right. Chris, Mike, are you guys looking into doing some Kubernetes work on your own, just for your education?
Aside from the typical hello world, and the programming world of deploying WordPress and Kubernetes, that's as far as we've gone. So.
I've written a couple of articles on it, just playing with it in my home lab and doing some POC deployments for some customers and stuff. Nothing production ready yet. A lot of the struggle that my customers are having is, where do you keep your stateful data? And where do things live that need to be held onto forever? Yep. A lot of somebody described this to me, and I think it holds true. You had your physical servers back in the old days, and then you have your VMware virtualization operating system layer, up until now. Now you have your containers OS-less layer, and then the next generation after that is going to be serverless. So there's pros and cons to each one of those, obviously, and the containers versus serverless debate that's currently happening now is it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. There's a place for both, and there's interesting use cases for both of them. I'm seeing more of the serverless asks and more of the virtualization asks. Not so much containers, but that could just be my region. That could just be my vertical that I'm playing in.
It's funny how we see people come up to and say, how do we back these things up? And it's like, the answer is, well, why would you want to back these up? Because you know what, they're ephemeral, they're stateless, until they aren't. And then, because enterprise is going to get a hold of some of this stuff, and they're going to want to use it in a little bit of a different way.
Oh yeah, totally.
And, it'll be
use it or
interesting
abuse
to see, a lot of the ecosystem too, and see what products spark up around that.
Because once they've stood it up and they get a taste for it, then the next question is BCDR. Where am I going to go with this? If this crashes, where do I throw it up next?
But the good news is that is moving to this containerization world or serverless world or whatever. It makes that DR planning much simpler, because all you ever care about then is the data. You don't have to worry about all these big fat applications that take hours or days to install on a VM that's then this lovely thing that you look after and you tend and all that. So you only have to then worry about, okay, what is my source of my data and how do I replicate that somewhere else? And then in the event of a DR, I'll just effectively rebuild on the fly. And with containers, you can do that insanely quickly.
Yeah, and Chris touched on this. I just caught it. He said he wrote about. You said you wrote about some of your.
Yeah, just some of my deployments. And, stand-ups.
And that's great. And just to build on that a little bit, this virtual community is great that way, where we actually blog about our experiences, good or bad, indifferent, either way, and that always helps someone else accelerate their deployment or have maybe change the way they're thinking about doing something, and that's really exciting to hear. So I want to encourage folks in the audience here, if you don't have a blog, consider starting one up and just start putting your thoughts out there. I think you'll find that to help clarify a lot of your thinking and just become more part of the virtualization community.
You don't want to know what's in here. No, so the reason why I got into blogging, and to your point, why we should encourage everybody to do it, my blog is my notepad. It is, I do things and I write it all down, and these are the steps that it took for me to do this, and then I forget about it. I actually forget that I wrote an article on something. I've actually Googled something and found my own article on it, something that I did like a year ago.
And I completely didn't understand.
That's right. My comments are, what an idiot. So it's like my online diary. I don't write it to try to have good prose or words spelled right.
I was going to say clearly.
obvious.
Right.
But you just get out there, just throw up a blog, just throw your brain out there. It's amazing how, like, I passed the AWS SA Associate exam, and I just wrote my notes. I took all of my notes for studying for it to pass it, and I was using it to actually study, like, in the exam center. I was like flipping through it on my phone. That is the most hit article on my blog, like thousands of hits on that one, and people are saying thank you for it. It's just my notes.
Right.
So giving back to the community is a huge piece of this.
It's one of those things that people come back to time and time again. You see those types of articles where you've shared information that's effectively reusable over time, versus something where you might write something that's very of the moment, and you have a number of people read it, and then it kind of disappears into the ether. But you know, those types of things become useful time after time.
Absolutely.
And what I think is interesting as well is, lots of people have said to me when I've talked about, like, why have you not started a blog? It's like, well, everybody else has already said everything, so like, why would I bother to write the same thing as somebody else? And what I think people forget is that everybody has their own unique take on a thing.
That's right.
So you could have like 5 different blogs about this, like, let's say Heptio, right?
Right.
There will be a lot of blogs about the Heptio thing,
right.
and every single one of them will have some different angle to it, and that's what people should bring to that, I think, with the, you know, picking that up as a community thing.
And for a certain subset, one of those articles is going to speak more than the other ones.
Right.
They'll get more out of the way that you wrote it versus the way that somebody else wrote it. And that's gold right there.
And I found even my blog moving, like taking it into, like personal wise, like career development and things like that. I've found it's opened up a lot of doors for me, just simply writing things down. And then the last move I made when I took interviews, I actually interviewed with 5 or 6 different people, and I'd only not met one of them before.
Right.
Just because I've been out at events like this, mainly due to my blog and tech field days and things like that.
And that's great. One tip I'll leave with you before we switch topics here. I know sometimes you feel you might feel discouraged in starting a blog. You might say, oh, I can't write like Chris, I can't write like Alex, I can't write like Mike.
Oh, you can.
But what I would encourage you to do, what you're looking at when you do that, you're looking at today. You're looking at where they are today. I encourage you to go back and look at their first blog post.
Oh, why would you do that?
And then see how they've grown over time in their blogging. And then that's where you can start to say to yourself, you know what, I can do this. Because looking at their first blog post, maybe it's just a quick summary of something that you were challenged with at the office or in the home lab, and they just put bullet points up or something. So that's just the way to get started. So I'm just going to leave that little tidbit.
I'll just add to that actually very quickly, because I think from a career perspective and a way that you develop your mind, blogging's actually really helped me in that perspective, because I started blogging when I was an engineer, and then I moved into the architecture space, and that time that I've spent writing this content and getting better, hopefully marginally better over time at writing that, I've then taken that knowledge and that practice and then put that into the kinds of documentation you write as an architect, because that was the direction my career went. And I found that massively beneficial for being able to write something that's reasonably coherent that I can put in front of a customer. So it's helped me, but it's also helped in terms of my role as well. So.
Absolutely.
So would you say today is day 0 or day 1 VMworld?
It's like day 2, I think, for most.
Or is it day 2? Oh no.
It's day 3 for me.
Oh no, I'm way behind.
I've only been here 2 days.
Oh no, oh no. Oh great. So what are some of the activities that folks may not be aware of, some vExpert activities taking place or that you'll be part of this week? May have already happened or coming up. Just
all the things you missed were amazing.
Did you look at my face and say something already happened?
Everything else is terrible. Just go home.
Yeah, that folks might want to be aware of, just to give them a sense of the community activity here, the virtualization.
I think for me, so I love coming to VMworld, not because of the sessions, and the sessions are great, and there's lots of great speakers, and I usually try and pick a few that are like kind of the special ones for me, for what I'm learning at the time or whatever. Yeah. But what I get the most benefit of is just about going around and talking to people. It's literally as simple as that. And sometimes when you're new to this, right? Like maybe you've not been to a VMworld before, maybe you've not been to a VMUG before, those types of events. Just takes going to 1 or 2 of them and just opening up to 1 or 2 people around you, and gradually you start to build that network of people, and then they introduce you to other people, etc. And I found for me, that's the one thing I look forward to most of all, coming to these. And trying to get involved in going to as many of the evening events as possible, because that's opportunities again to meet more and more people and grow your network of people that you can learn from and you can share with. and all that. So for me, actually, I would say there's lots of cool events, but the thing I'm always looking for is other people.
Yeah, I concur. I mean, my first VMworld, I remember my schedule was just packed. Running around
50 sessions.
And everything.
Oh, that first VMworld when you get 1,000 steps an hour.
Have a few sessions that you present, but the rest of the time is just right in this area, really, just having conversations with people and sitting at the tables. And pro tip, they say blogger tables, but you could sit at them.
Don't tell anybody.
Nobody's blogging over.
So the thing that the sessions are good, but they're posted on the internet, so you can catch them if you miss them. The things that I find the most valuable is the hackathons. Getting into a hackathon, sitting down with a table full of people, hopefully that have a different skill set than you, and learning from them and picking up. I mean, you learn more in a couple of hours of banging away at a new thing than you would, with a couple of weeks with a white paper and a laptop. I love the hackathons. I try to go to as many as possible. I'm on the vBrownBag staff today, so I'll be doing 0 hackathons here. But yeah, that's my primary one, and my secondary one is the networking, talking to people, like Paul McSherry over there.
But with the hackathons, you don't even need to be able to code. You don't need to. You can be part of a team, and you're doing the documentation for it, or you're sorting out GitHub for it, or you can. There's loads of ways to.
There's ways to contribute.
Bring the beer.
There's ways to contribute, and some folks may feel like, I don't know enough, or I can't do that. Don't discount yourself. Just get in there and contribute any way you can, like Mike said, or documentation, or any way that you can.
And they need infrastructure guys. It's not a thing where it's like just coders. I mean, the best group will be one dev, one person that knows Linux really well, one person that knows Windows really well, and an infrastructure guy or person.
And clearly somebody who knows Kubernetes now.
Exactly, and now KPS. As long as we have a KH person there, we should be fine.
So there's a vExpert party.
Yes. This
evening, right? Anything else top of mind there? Just in terms of vExpert activities happening? I know I'm putting you 3 on the spot. It's easier, by the way, to put them on the spot when you're the moderator. That's why I chose to be moderator.
Wait until tomorrow.
That's why I chose to be moderator. Or facilitator, or whatever.
Well, I think things like coming to the vBrownBag sessions is really valuable, partly because you get to see the sessions, which are, a lot of the vExperts put their hands up to come and volunteer to do these, but also because then you get to meet the other people in the audience. So if people are around the center at the moment and thinking, okay, I've got 20 minutes to spare, just come down and sit in the vBrownBag crew and watch a session and talk to people around you. I think that's definitely a way to go.
That's great. I was thinking, how can folks that are new to the virtualization community, or maybe new to the show, get more involved in sort of the virtualization community? Because it's all about bringing people in, helping people grow, etc. What are some of the ways that
approach anybody with a vExpert tag on their thing. Ask them how do I get into it?
How do I get a tag?
No, you got to get a tag. We'll talk to Julia over there.
That's a great point.
Talk to the guys from vBrownBag. This entire community section right here is filled with people that would love to help you get into it. I mean, the vExpert community is 1,500 people that come from all walks, that have all manner of experience. We have NSX pros, we have Kubernetes pros, we have AWS and Azure pros, we have VMC pros. The Slack channel is a wealth of knowledge for anybody that gets out of the general social area. But talk to any one of us. We'd love to embrace you, help you get into the community.
I would too say just get on Twitter. There's a lot going on Twitter, so if you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter. And you don't even have to talk to people, you can just lurk around in there and watch what people are talking about. Kind of read the snark that's happening. And, I would recommend that as one big step.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, so that's the VMworld bit, but once you go home, it's kind of easy to go, oh, well, that was an awesome event, and then you get stuck into the day job. And I think Stephen Foskett uses a great phrase. He says, you need to look up once in a while and see what's going on around you. And so I think even going along to find out where your local community meetup is, it doesn't even have to be a VMworld, it could be literally anything. AWS user groups, Azure user groups.
From the Portsmouth.
Alex, and I think that's why we use, or at least I do whenever I speak about the virtualization community.
Yeah.
That encompasses so much. That encompasses all companies that are involved in cloud and virtualization. And so I think it's important to consider everything.
Yep.
You know, I'll just give a quick tip on how to get to meet people. Consider creating laptop stickers. If you have a blog or if you have a brand, consider creating some laptop stickers. Get them from Sticker Mule or wherever your favorite printer is.
Other printers are available.
Yes, other printers are available. And share them at the community areas. Just distribute them, and what you'll find, right? And we have, yeah, exactly. We have someone.
It is the currency of IT. All things flow.
Amit's got some. And
Amit has some Open TechCast ones at the back there.
Right,
plug.
podcast. Yeah.
We have some
And what you'll find
ones.
is folks will, as you're distributing them, folks, it'll spark a conversation. You'll get to know, the person standing next to you on your right and to your left. It's a great way of just starting a conversation. A very simple thing to do, but very effective, and I think you'll find it very helpful.
Plus, stickers are awesome.
Yeah, stickers are awesome.
Or just yank on Kyle Ruddy's beard once,
Right.
And you become a member of the community.
Right. And second pro tip here: if you have a corporate laptop and you're not allowed to put stickers on it, just get a shield for the cover. Right, slap on that shield, and then just put those stickers on the shield, and you're good to go. You're golden.
And then when you get your one-to-one with your manager, you just take the shield off.
Right, take the shield
it back
off.
out, put it back
Exactly. See, a lot of pro tips here. A lot of pro tips. But that's great. So I think, as I'm looking at the team in the back,
They're not even looking at you.
which we're good. I think we'll wrap it up. I think we'll wrap it up here, unless I know. Alex has I know. Sorry?
Nice. Five.
Okay, there's the sign. 5 minutes. Good. I know Alex, so we'll just do a quick plug here for some resources. Alex has a podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I've got two now actually.
Oh, you got two now, right?
Yeah.
If you want to share that.
Because it's much quicker to do podcasts than it is to blog.
Right. If you want to share that very quickly.
So Open TechCast, which I run with some of the other community members. Literally, that was another example of the V community coming together. We had 5 different guys, all from around the London area, all working for different organizations, and we came together and we said, let's just do a community podcast, and we'll get anybody who wants to be involved as well. So if you want to come and be part of a podcast as a guest, just get in touch with us. So that's Open TechCast. And then we have another one that I do, which is a tech agnostic podcast, but I do with my organization, and that's called Cloud Spotting. And we talk about, it's more of kind of an educational, so how do we approach different problems and how do we solve some of the business challenges that are out there with different types of technology.
Right.
Cloud spotting?
Cloud Spotting.
I'll do that one.
Right. And I'll just a quick plug for me. I also
We have stickers, yes.
Great. I also do a podcast, Nutanix Community Podcast, so you might want to check that out. It's yours is available iTunes, SoundCloud,
all the usual.
Stitcher. Yeah, same thing with mine. So check that out. Mike, anything?
I do not do a podcast.
Right. Not yet.
I don't think I curse too much. I don't know. I don't. No, I blog on my blog, mwpreston.net, as well as the Rubric blog and various other like Tech Target and different things like that as well. So.
Chris, anything you want to share? Last words or anything?
Most of my stuff. So I also do not have a podcast. Most of my stuff is in MeetSpace. It's I have my little blog, Mistwire, but I also help to run the AWS Portsmouth user group, the virtualization technology user group of New England, and I also help with vBrownBag.
Great.
And at some point you sleep.
Yeah.
Well, then there's my day job.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in Toronto, come to the Toronto VMworld.
Right, yes, right. So thanks so much. With that, thank you, Chris, thank you, Alex, thank you, Mike. It was great to have you guys come up and speak. We're going to be in this area all week, so come by and say hi. And with that, thank you.